everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am actually not building a house because, as you can see, this house has already been built. So this is actually a house that was built by DELIGRACY on a live stream last week, and after she had finished building it but hadn't started furnishing it, she shared it for everybody on the stream who was watching to be able to download and then furnish themselves. So, as a big fan of hers, I decided to go ahead and download it and furnish it and decorate it to how I thought it should be done. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing today. This is strictly a speed furnishing, not a speed build. So here at the beginning, this is what the house looked like before I did anything to it. For the most part, I kept things pretty much the way that they were. I changed all of the red brick on the outside to be kind of that gray stone, just because, I don't know, I wasn't really feeling the red brick for this house, so I thought the gray stone would look nice. And then on the inside, I took down a wall in one spot to make the kitchen, and then I added in an archway in another spot so that there was a little bit of a better flow through the house. And then I also moved what I think was supposed to be a bathroom on the first floor to a different spot, also on the first floor, because I wanted to have the bathroom in a more central location instead of being kind of stuck over at one end. So yeah, so this is a house that is built for Judy and Clarice from DELIGRACY's Parenthood Let's Play series. So if you're not familiar with the series begins when Judy is an elder and Clarice is either an adult or a young adult. I forget how old she was at the beginning. And then it also focuses on Clarice's daughter, Bailey. But this is Judy as a young woman raising Clarice, who is a toddler at this point. And this is supposed to be the house that they lived in when Clarice was a child. So this is for Judy and Clarice, and then they have a dog named Cat and a cat named Dog. And then she also gave them a roommate or a friend of Judy's who's living with them, and her name, I believe, is Aurora. So she was just sort of somebody random that she created also for this house as well. But she's not in the Let's Play series. She just made it for just the stream. So, but anyways, so this house is for the 5 of them, basically. So this entry room, I think DELIGRACY started furnishing it as the kitchen. I decided to make it the living room because, I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of walking into a house and having the kitchen be the very first room. I mean, I know that happens sometimes, but I prefer the welcoming space to be not the kitchen, but more of a living room. So I did this room in very neutral, grays and blacks and white colors. And then I wanted all of the artwork and the decorations in the room to really pop and be the source of color in the room. So Judy is artistic and kind of out there a little bit. So I wanted to kind of express that, but also realizing that she's sharing this home with another adult who might not have her same taste, just in any situation where you're sharing a house with another human being, people have different tastes. So that's why if you watch through, I decorated each room not very similar to the previous room. So the living room is done in a specific style, the dining room is done in a specific style, the kitchen is done in a specific style, and all 3 styles aren't really, they go together, but they're not the same. I also, in my mind, sort of thought, okay, so we have 2, young adult women, one of whom has a little kid or a toddler, and they're living in this house together, so chances are that this house is probably a rental home, and that they don't actually own it themselves. In the real world, that's probably how that would go. So there are some rooms where it's it doesn't even really suit either one of their styles necessarily, because maybe that's how it was originally. But yeah, also, let me explain about the tissue wall. So, because I was I'm gonna put this in, but I think I'm gonna have to explain it. So in the stream, this is focusing on a lot of the stuff from the Laundry Day stuff pack that came out last week. One of the things that she was mentioning was that in a lot of the shelving units, there's like spots that are bigger for you to put extra items in, but most items don't actually fit in those spots, even ones that look like they should fit there. But the tissue boxes always fit. So like there's kind of a joke that like then you put the tissue box in because that's one of the few items in the game that will fit into any of the little miscellaneous random spots for shelving. So I started off actually because I put the cat tree there, and then I was like, oh, well, I could do shelves, like kind of like, you know, scattered looking shelves going up and down the wall. And I was like, well, this is silly. I just have shelves and I have nothing on them. And like, in all honesty, we don't have enough stuff to put on those shelves. So I just put tissues on them instead. But if you've ever seen, I don't even know if the show is on around the world, but if you've ever seen the TV show My Cat from Hell on Animal Planet, I'm not much of a cat person. Like, I like cats, but I don't have a cat. I have a dog. So I don't really know much about the, like the mental game of owning a cat. But one of the things that comes up a lot is, so basically, if you don't know, this show is about a guy who's like a cat therapist, behaviorist type of person. And if people are having trouble with their cats, he can come in and like, you know, work with them to try to get them and their cat on the same page. But basically one of the things that a lot of times is an issue for people who are cat owners, or as he calls them, cat guardians, is that the cat needs to feel safe and secure by patrolling, and they like to do that from high elevations. So that's why like things like the cat tree are really popular with cats, because then they can go up and they can survey over the whole room and they feel safe and secure. So a lot of times he'll have people kind of set up like a cat superhighway, like going around the perimeter of the room but up high. So that's sort of what I was going for there. And then I put the tissue boxes and I was like, okay, so if a real cat was climbing on these shelves, you know what would happen. They would climb up on the first one and swat away the first tissue box, and then that would be that. But, you know, this is The Sims, so I can pretend. So this is the dining room area. I kind of went with kind of like a rustic European vibe almost. It actually really reminds me a lot of some of the rooms that were styled in The Sims 3 World Adventures France, with like the stone tile, but then the light colored wood paneling on the walls. So I think the chairs were from the Parenthood game pack, but then the round dining table is from Laundry Day. The corner cabinet and the hutch are both from Pets. So this room, it feels a little bit less sleek and eccentric and modern and more cozy and homey. So, because I also sort of thought that for a dining room, it should be cozy and homey and comfortable, because that's where people will spend time with their family, sitting together and eating. So this is the kitchen. So this kitchen, it's a small room, which was a little bit of a challenge, but at the same time, I kind of liked it. And actually, when it's done, this is probably my favorite kitchen that I've ever built. Like, not to toot my own horn, but I loved how this kitchen turned out. So this is one of those fun things that you don't really think about too much, but when you're not the one who's building the home, like I tend to build my own homes so that the kitchens will look the way that I tend to build my kitchens, if that makes sense. So, but when you're not the one picking out which room is which necessarily, or how big a room is, then you kind of have to work with what you've been given. So that was sort of the situation here, is that because I definitely did not want the kitchen to be in either one of the first two rooms that I did. So that left on the downstairs floor anyways, this spot. So it kind of forced me to be a little bit, I don't know, creative and a little bit more out of my comfort zone. I wound up doing like kind of a industrial chic type of look. It actually, and I feel like I've said this before, but the cabinets that I used, and then in combination with the white wood paneling on the walls and the dark wood, like wide beam floors, it really reminds me, oh, and then these plants on the wall. It really reminds me of a style of kitchen that you would see from Chip and Joanna Gaines from Fixer Upper. They use a lot of like this industrial, homey farmhouse kind of vibe, which I really, really love. I don't know that I would want to live in a house that had this as the kitchen necessarily, but like aesthetically, I really like how it looks. Also, when I went back and I did the screenshots, at some point, 2 of the plants on the wall, the lower 2 plants, had disappeared, which I would have gone back in and fixed it, but I had already uploaded this house to the gallery by the time I realized it, so I don't know. If you download this house, if you want to add in those 2 other plants again, you can do so. I'm not really sure. I did have the Move Objects cheat turned on in order to place them there, but the odd thing is that I only needed the Move Objects cheat for the top plant, not the bottom 2, and yet the bottom 2 are the ones that disappeared, so I'm not really sure what happened, but and then I also realized that I had put on too much clutter on the countertops, and there was actually no space left for your Sims to prepare food, which is pretty important for a kitchen. So I did some slight readjusting there at the very end, but it should all work now, and I love that kitchen. It's clean and bright, and I just love it. So anyways, so this is kind of an interesting room. This is a 3 seasons room, which I think somebody actually in chat had suggested that Deli build a 3 seasons room, or I think she called it an all seasons room, which I don't think I've ever called it that before, heard it called that before, but it's a 3 seasons room. So basically, if you don't know what that is, it's a room attached to a house that's basically, it's not heated or air conditioned, but you can use it in 3 of the 4 seasons of the year. So you can use it spring, summer, fall, and then winter it's probably too cold for you to go out there. So it's kind of like one step above like a screened in porch, but a step below an actual room of the house. And a lot of times they're kind of like, I don't know, just like a bonus space, and people can sit around and maybe have a meal with their family and friends if they have like a little table and stuff set up there. Actually, the house that my grandparents lived in, they didn't have a 3 seasons room, but they did have a screened-in back porch. And I remember growing up, we had a lot of like summer evenings where we would sit outside with them, or not outside, we would sit on the porch with them and, you know, chit chat, or like if family or friends would come in from out of town and they were visiting, like that's the spot that we would go to. They also can kind of double as like a workspace. So since Judy is an artist and is very artistic, I turned this kind of into her workshop. I also took one of the little chairs from the Laundry Day stuff pack, and I shrunk it down. So it's not functional, but I shrunk it down so it would be like a toddler chair. Like, I don't know, I remember growing up, we had patio furniture, but like the adult size patio furniture, but it was shrunk down for kids, and I just thought that was just so cute. So, but yeah, so that's kind of Judy's art studio workspace area. And now we are in the basement, which is the laundry room. So when this house was uploaded, the floor was like this funky yellow linoleum tile thing going on, which I don't think, because then as the stream progressed, she did go through and like finish decorating the rooms. I don't think it's stuck, but I decided to do like a poured concrete look, because I wanted, the basement in this house is not really, it's not public space. It's not a gathering space. It's not even like a hangout space. Sorry. I'm getting over being sick still. But anyways, so I wanted this room to be kind of cluttered, kind of messy, not really a spot that you would be spending a lot of time in, but it's a good spot to stick the washer and dryer because, I mean, in reality, most, at least in the United States, most houses have their laundry stuff in the basement, and most often the basement is not finished and it's kind of cluttered, and there's like storage shelves and boxes and things that, you know, are maybe out of season and you don't use them all the time. So I made it look like the laundry part looks nice, and it uses quite a few things from the Laundry Day stuff pack, but it's also, you know, it's kind of a cluttered mess down there. So I didn't keep the footage in because it didn't seem that interesting to me, but I also did furnish the bathroom on the first floor. So I think you could kind of see that a little bit from the shots where I was doing the 3 Seasons room, but there are screenshots of the bathrooms. I didn't put the footage in because this video is long enough. Like, it's kind of funny because most of the time my build videos where I build a house and decorate a house are like half an hour long. And this time I didn't build anything, I just decorated, and it still wound up being like a half an hour long. So, I don't know. Make of that what you will. But yeah, so this is Judy's bedroom. So I went with kind of, it's a little eclectic because Judy is kind of an eclectic person. She's also very artistic, and so I gave her the bed. I don't remember which. It's actually a reward bed, but I like it because it has Starry Night painted on the sheets. I also realized that as I was doing this, that part of the roof kind of cuts through the room, and some of the plants cut through the room, so I did go through and I adjusted it a little bit so that it doesn't do that, because that personally just kind of drives me crazy. I know not everybody gets bothered by those little things, but I don't know, they bother me, so I fixed it. But yeah, so I kind of went with like a creamy white and like kind of a muted blue color scheme in here. So I don't know, there's a lot going on in the room. Like once it's all done, there's quite a bit that I've managed to fit in this little room. But I wanted it to also seem like, you know, she's a young mom at this point, so she might need a place to kind of chill and relax and take a breather. So that's why I picked like the blue type color scheme. So I'm just messing around with paintings. I like that grouping of paintings from, I think they came out with pets, I believe. So I was trying to find ones that I thought best matched the color scheme. Also, okay, so I don't know if I've said this before or not, but I love the new bay windows, but it drives me crazy how few curtains actually work well with them. Like that curtain, I think, is from City Living, and this is just like my personal opinion, but if you're making a pack and you're putting out a new window type like the bay windows, you need to make sure that curtains fit it. At least put in one type of curtain that fits the window, because nothing works with that window. There's the curtains from City Living, and I think there's like one, maybe 2 others that work with it, because most of the time the curtains will slot in too low, because the window goes pretty high up, and it just doesn't work. It just does not work at all, and it's very upsetting. But yeah, so I also decided that in this room, because Judy is she's kind of a quirky little sim, that she would have things like the flip-flop lights and, you know, the butterflies that glow and light up on the walls. But then I also put in a little writing desk in the corner, because in my mind, I sort of think that Judy is the type of person who is much more likely to sit down and handwrite a letter than she is to send them an email or a text. So that's why I put that in there. But yeah, so now I'm going through and playing with roofs. But yeah, so I fixed the one roof that's cutting through the 2 adult bedrooms, and then these windows over here at the end, they were cutting through there too, so I adjusted them the best that I could. But yes, so this is Aurora's bedroom, and so since Aurora is a sim that Deli created during the stream for this house, I didn't really know too much about her besides the traits that she had been given. So she has the, what's it called? Her aspiration is the one where she wants to be like a really good gardener. Like, I don't know, in Sims 3 the trait was called green thumb, and now I don't remember what the trait is. But yeah, so she's big into gardening, she loves the outdoors, she loves dogs, and she's good. So basically, she seems like, you know, pretty much a nice, average kind of person. So for her bedroom, I went with this like purple and black color scheme. I used, the bed is from Pets, the dresser is from Pets, and then I don't know, everything else is kind of a mishmash. Like, I know the paper, the wallpaper is from Vampires. But yeah, so she seemed, I don't know, just maybe like a little bit more introverted. So her room is kind of like, it's a little bit of like a young old lady's room. like honestly, I don't know that she watches these videos, but when I was doing this room, for some reason, I was really reminded of my younger sister, who is pretty much the nicest, sweetest, most kind person I've ever met, but she's a little bit of a very young old lady. Like, she's very content to curl up with like 12 blankets and a book and a hot chocolate and just chill in her room and call it a day. So, I don't know, I think I was just sort of channeling her when I was doing this room. And she's, you know, she's got kind of like an old-fashioned style bed and an old-fashioned style wallpaper, and everything is like, you know, nice and maintained, and she's not like a hoarder or anything, but like her tastes are a little bit more old-fashioned. So I put in the corner, there's like the plants and the decorations from Laundry Day, and I love those lights on the wall that are kind of like the old-timey globe style lights. I think they're actually meant to be like on the outside of buildings. I tend to use those lights a lot for some reason, and because they put off a good light and they're just neutral enough that they go with a lot of different things. Also, because Aurora was like loving the outdoors, wants to be a gardener type of sim, I put in quite a few plants in her room as well, but her room is actually pretty small, so I was a little bit limited as far as like how much I could put in. Okay, so now we are on to Toddler Clarice's bedroom. So in her Parenthood LP, Clarice is like a very ambitious, perfectionist type of person. So I started off and I wanted her room to seem like a kid's room, but a kid's room that was like very organized. So I picked like wallpaper that it's mostly white, but at the very top there's like the little penguin border going around just for like, you know, a little pop of color, because she's a child. So like obviously she's going to want something that's like fun and whimsical, but also maybe a little bit more subdued. I tend to, when I do toddler bedrooms in particular, I tend to do a lot of like over the top types of color palettes, just because a lot of times that's the colors that are used in like kids' furniture and decorations, like really bright everything. So I stuck with like a pink and purple and kind of like a coral colored color scheme in here. So like the dog, which by the way, apparently we got a stuffed dog and a stuffed cat in Pets. I had no idea. I was just going through the catalog like, oh, she should have a stuffed animal. Oh, okay, this one's cute. Wait, that's a dog. Like, when did that happen? I totally missed it. But yeah, so she has like her little books and her toy box, and it's a cute little room. It's very much a little bit of a little girl's room. But yeah, so now I'm doing the hallway area. So I decided I didn't put a computer in anywhere else in the room or in the house, and I was like, okay, let's make the computer be like a shared thing in the hallway, kind of like a neutral location where anybody can use it. Normally in my houses, I prefer to not put computers in like neutral locations like that. I like to put them in a room where I can lock the door, because I've discovered if you invite Sims over, either to just like hang out and chill, or if you invite them over for a party, it's like a beeline. They love the computer, and I'm like, I'm inviting you over to talk to my Sim. Like, if you want to play on the computer, go back to your house and do it on your own time. Like, so, I don't know. It's weird to me. Hold on. I needed a water break. Sorry. But yeah, so I broke my own rule by putting a computer in the hallway. And yeah, this hallway, it's kind of an extension of the living room downstairs with like the same flooring and the same gray wallpaper. And then the artwork is much more, for the most part, it's more colorful. But yeah, so besides having the computer there, there's not much else to say. It's a little bit more modern maybe than the downstairs, because I love that light fixture. I think it came with the fitness stuff pack, but you know, the one, it has like, it's like very geometric, but it's like metal going into like a, I don't know, like an upside down diamond shape. But anyways, so outside, Deli had done this like beautiful like pergola area, and I was like, I have to put a table out here. Like, this is just so pretty. You can sit out here. And then I stuck in the bird feeder and the wind chimes, because I don't know, I did that in my auntie's house build, where I don't know, I'm really digging the bird feeder and the wind chimes right now. Like, maybe because it's cold and winter here, like I'm like, I would like to hear the sounds of birds chirping and wind chimes chiming. And I put in planter boxes because Judy herself actually is a gardener as well in the Parenthood Let's Play. She was a gardener. So I figured they should have a lot of gardening spaces. And then because Clarice is a toddler, I decided to put in the slide from the toddler stuff pack. And then I decided to make this little like sandbox area using terrain paints. And then the edgings are like, they're like flat tiles from the Get Together expansion pack. And then I just stuck in a bunch of toys, like, I don't know, things that you could possibly play with in a sandbox. And because so oftentimes Sims, when they see toys sitting around like that, will just autonomously go and put them away. And it drives me crazy because sometimes I want the toys out of the toy box because they're decoration. I did stick in a few of the like decor items and then shrunk them down to be about the same size as some of the other toys. So that way then your Sims, even if the other toys get put away, there's still going to be toys available in the toy box. So it doesn't just look like, oh hey, there's this patch of sand in the backyard. What? So, and then I figured, you know, with a little kid running around and a cat and a dog, this yard should probably be fenced in, and it doesn't really need to be accessible from the, you know, outside world. So the only way you can get into the backyard is from inside of the house, which is probably the safest bet. And yeah, so now we're up to screenshots. You notice there are a few changes that happened between filming and when I was building it. But like the one painting in the living room, I don't know, for some reason in this house objects would like disappear as I was placing them. So yeah, so there are the flower box things on the kitchen wall that have gone. But yeah, for the most part, when I went back through, a lot of things were the same. I don't know, I had bad luck. But yeah, so this is the first floor bathroom. It's kind of like a black and white with like that bronzy copper color. And then I don't think I put this on film, but I did put in a trash can in the backyard. So there is like a general trash can. Deli had already put the mailbox in on the front porch, so we're good there. So if you like this build, you can download either my version on my Sims 4 gallery page using the hashtag Mrs. Tomato 1018, or through my username Mrs. Tomato 1018, or you can download the original from Deli herself and decorate how you like. So that's under DELIGRACY. And yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please feel free to do so. I do speed builds. I'm trying to get started with doing a Let's Play series, so lots of fun and exciting things to come. And yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!